Morning, guys. I wanted to come and talk to you guys today about how to make a goal work for you. See, with it being the new year, everyone is setting these goals and they're hoping that this new year is a new start for them. The problem is the habits that they have in place for how they reached or how they set goals previously, it's still in place. And that's what's sort of impacting their opportunity to actually reach their goal and to be successful. And so when you're setting a goal, in order to be successful with setting a goal, you first want to make sure the goal is personal. You see, so many people set goals that have to do with outside factors that aren't necessarily related to them. And so maybe the goal might be, I want my child to behave better. Yes, we can implement things to try to make our children behave better, or try to make our children listen, but realistically, that goal is set for them. Or I want my boss to be nicer to me. That is not a goal that you can set. Goals that you can set will be, I'd like to be more consistent in my parenting practice. I'd like for me to respond better to my boss's nags. Whatever it may be, the goal has to be landed on you. It has to be a result of your response, a result of what you are going to do and not what someone else is going to do. In addition to that, you want the goal to be specific. So you want to really narrow down. We've all heard of SMART goals, right? And the first letter in the acronym of SMART is S, which stands for specific. So you want the goal to be specific. That means that goal needs to really be narrowed down. So like I stated earlier, I want my parenting practices to be more consistent. What does that mean? So I want to respond better to my daughter's tantrums by whatever. So I want to respond better to my daughter's tantrums by walking away or by having a constructive conversation explaining why a tantrum isn't appropriate. Whatever it may be, you really want to narrow down and be specific, because when your goals are kind of like general and blah, they can go either way. And your inconsistencies in working on your goal will ultimately lead to your failure of the goal. It won't allow you to be successful because you're not really being consistent. You're not building on what it is that you want to accomplish. You're just sort of doing what seems to work in the moment. The third thing is you want your goal to be written. There was a study done in Harvard Business School on students who wanted to set goals. And what they did was they studied the MBA class, and they asked the students who had written goals. And the students who had the written goals were 10 times as successful as the other percent of students who did not have written goals. Basically, to sum that up is you can't just say you have a goal without physically have it written down. When you write down your goal, you have to reflect on it. You have to feel it. You have to focus on it. You have to see what that goal means to you. When the goal is just kind of up in your head, you could forget about it. You could forget how you want to approach it. You could forget what it means to you. It could just be all over the place. And so my plea to you is to write down your goal. You may call me a bit excessive, but one of the things that I do is I write down my goal every single day. And that to me is just a way to reinforce what it is I want to be working on during that day. When I wake up early in the morning, that's one of the acts that I do is I write down every single goal, not only that I have for that day, but my main goals that I hope to accomplish in life. And so when I'm writing those down, it allows me to really reflect on my actions that I plan to take the day ahead so that I can work towards those goals. So for example, if I know that I want to publish a book by the end of the year and I write that goal down in the morning, then I'm probably going to spend some time that day working on my book, writing or studying or researching or reading, but I'm going to spend some time. If I know I want to publish a book and I don't write it down, I may not remember that goal for a month. And then I'm working on it, but now I'm a month behind at working on that goal. And so those are the three things that I recommend when you are working on goals to make sure that you are making the goal personable. You want to make sure your goal is specific, and you want to make sure the goal is written down. I read a really good book by John Maxwell. Let me check over here. 3 Things That Successful People Do. It was one of the best books that I've probably ever read, but it talked about acts that successful people have in place in order to increase their success. And when he has a chapter on goals, and when he talks about setting goals, he talks about making the goal specific. And the example he gives is when you're in a restaurant, if you say to your waiter, hey, I'd like some food, you have no clue what it is that waiter is going to bring to you, right? The waiter's just going to bring whatever. It could be food that you hate. It could be food that you love. It could be a little bit of food. It could be a lot of food. You have no clue what it is that the waiter is going to bring to you. And it's the same thing with goals. You can't just say, hey, I want to be successful. What does that mean? You don't know what success will happen. You don't know what success will look like until you start to define it and work specifically towards that. And so the same thing applies in your life. You want to be very specific at what it is you're working towards and how it is that you are going to achieve that goal. So my plea to you is to implement those 3 things with this new year beginning. It's already picking up so fast. I mean, it just started and we just celebrated New Year. And here it is. It's already several days in. And I already have clients that are telling me they haven't started anything. And it's not too late to start, but I don't want you to get stuck in that downward spiral. I want you to really start working in the other direction so that you can be successful. So if you are ready to make those moves, start implementing those 3 steps that will lead to your success. The time is now. Don't wait another moment. Don't be a someday thinker. Start now. So I'm looking forward to the goals that you guys will accomplish this year, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. Continue with clarity. Bye, guys.